This is a topic that fills entire shelves in bookstores and thousands of hits on a Google search. Every question has been asked, every explanation has been given, but knowing all of this still doesn't prepare you for how it actually feels when it happens to you. When the man you love, your husband, your partner, the person you've been building a future with, starts pulling away, you don't just notice it, you feel it in your body before your mind even catches up. By pull away, I don't mean a bad week. I don't mean temporary stress. I mean when he stops initiating romance, stops initiating sex, stops reaching for your hand, stops creating closeness. The energy shifts, the pursuit fades, the physical contact lessens, and something in your body reacts before your mind can rationalize it. Fear comes first, then anxiety, then the question you don't want to sit with. Is this the beginning of the end? It doesn't matter how grounded you are. When the person you love stops reaching for you, your body reacts before your mind can catch up. The tight chest, the looping thoughts, the sudden drop in everything. That's not a weakness. That's attachment, and it deserves to be taken seriously. When a partner withdraws inside a committed relationship, it doesn't just hurt, it destabilizes. It makes you question what you thought was solid. Before assuming the worst, it helps to understand that withdrawal is rarely random and almost never without cause. What feels like rejection on the surface is often a response to something happening beneath it. To make sense of the distance, we have to look at the psychological patterns that commonly drive it, the internal shifts that slowly change behavior long before anyone talks about them. Chronic stress suppresses romantic and sexual initiation. Long-term relationships don't exist in a bubble. There are bills, deadlines, aging parents, career pressure, kids waking up at 2 a.m. Life accumulates, and stress accumulates with it. When someone is running on empty for long enough, the body makes quiet decisions. Cortisol rises, testosterone drops, but it goes beyond hormones. Chronic stress simply occupies the mental space that romance used to live in. When your nervous system is constantly in problem-solving mode, closeness becomes secondary, not intentionally, just automatically. Many men, when overwhelmed, go inward rather than outward. They get quieter, they reduce stimulation. What reads as emotional withdrawal is often just depletion, someone trying to hold everything together with nothing left to give. It might look like this. He used to reach for you in the kitchen, send a random text in the middle of the day, initiate on weekends without a second thought. But something shifted. Work got heavier, sleep got shorter, money got louder in his head. Now he comes home and he's there, but not really there. He's not pulling away from you. He's just running out of bandwidth. Without understanding this, it's easy to take it personally, but sometimes what feels like rejection is just exhaustion wearing a familiar face. Emotional safety has eroded. Intimacy doesn't just need love to survive. It needs safety. Not dramatic safety, the quiet, everyday kind. The kind that's built through small moments, tone of voice, and how it feels to be vulnerable with someone. When attempts at closeness are repeatedly met with frustration, correction, or even subtle criticism, none of it necessarily intentional, the nervous system takes notes. Slowly, reaching out starts to feel risky. And when someone begins to associate vulnerability with conflict or feeling inadequate, distance becomes the safer option. Research backs this up. Men are more likely to withdraw after repeated negative exchanges, not because they stop caring, but because withdrawal feels less threatening than repeated exposure to tension. It might look like this. He initiates one night, and it turns into a conversation about how he doesn't do it enough. Or he opens up about something stressful, and the response, even gently, shifts toward what he should be doing differently. No malice, no bad intentions, but after enough moments like that, his nervous system quietly connects closeness with pressure. So he pulls back, not because attraction disappeared, not because love left, but because the ease did. When initiation fades after repeated tension, the real question isn't what's wrong with the relationship, it's whether both people still feel genuinely safe inside it. Desire declines when it becomes performance-based. Desire needs one thing above everything else: freedom. When something feels chosen, it feels alive. When it starts feeling required, evaluated, or tied to someone's mood, something quietly dies in it. In long-term relationships, sex can slowly stop being just connection. It starts carrying weight. It becomes reassurance, proof that everything is okay, proof he still wants you, proof the relationship is still intact. And that's where pressure quietly moves in. When initiation starts feeling like it will be analyzed, why don't you do this more often, or the silent tension that follows a week of nothing, the experience changes. It stops feeling like pleasure, it starts feeling like a test. It might look like this. He notices that when too much time passes, the atmosphere in the house shifts. You get quieter, a little more distant. Suddenly, intimacy doesn't feel like desire, it feels like a responsibility. If he initiates, he worries it won't be enough. If he doesn't, he knows it will be felt. Anxiety slowly replaces spontaneity, and when something starts feeling like a performance you might fail, avoidance feels much safer than trying. This isn't rejection, it's self-protection from a pressure that was never spoken out loud. Unresolved resentment expressed as distance. Relationships rarely fall apart in one dramatic moment. More often, they erode through small imbalances that never get addressed. One person feels like they're carrying more, giving more, being seen less. But instead of saying it directly, it settles quietly under the surface. Research shows men are less likely to raise relational dissatisfaction directly. Instead, it shows up in behavior, less affection, less initiation, less effort, not as punishment, just as emotional conservation. It might look like this. He works long hours, handles most of the financial pressure, comes home tired, and the first conversation is about what still needs fixing, the bill he forgot, the plan he missed, the thing that went wrong. He doesn't argue, he doesn't ask for a medal, but when his efforts feel consistently invisible, his motivation quietly fades. Why keep reaching when reaching goes unnoticed? Or this. He's mentioned gently that he feels dismissed during arguments. Nothing changes, so eventually he stops mentioning it. He stops planning things, stops initiating, not because love left, but because he feels emotionally overdrawn with nothing coming back in. Distance becomes the only language left for everything he stopped saying out loud. Identity compression in long-term roles. In the beginning, relationships feel expansive. New restaurants, late nights talking, spontaneous trips. You see yourself through someone else's eyes, desired, interesting, alive. That energy fuels attraction. Desire thrives when life feels like it's still unfolding. But over time, roles settle in. Provider, husband, father, the responsible one, the problem solver, the person who remembers the bills and shows up to everything. Stability is good, nobody is saying otherwise. But sometimes, in the process of becoming dependable, something more personal quietly gets left behind. It might look like this. He used to play music on weekends, work out, see friends without scheduling it 3 weeks in advance. He loved his life then, and he loves his family now. But somewhere between then and now, he stopped feeling like a person and started feeling like a function. He looks around and sees responsibility in every direction. And romance, which once felt like an expression of who he was, starts feeling like another item on the list. He's not less attracted to you, he's less connected to himself. And when someone feels that compressed inside their own life, initiation doesn't just feel difficult, it feels disconnected from who they currently are. Sometimes pulling away isn't about the relationship at all. It's an unconscious attempt to find a little space, to remember there's a person underneath all the obligation. After everything covered in this video, one thing becomes clear. When a man pulls away inside a committed relationship, it's rarely random, it's rarely about you specifically, and it's almost never malicious. It's usually a response to something internal. Stress that's gone unmanaged, safety that's slowly eroded, desire that started feeling like pressure, resentment that never found words, or an identity that's gotten lost somewhere inside the routine. The behavior looks the same from the outside. Less initiation, less warmth, less presence, but the root is different every time. And responding to the wrong root only deepens the distance. When a man pulls away, what you're seeing isn't usually the beginning of the end. It's the surface of something that's been quietly building underneath. The most painful mistake couples make is reading withdrawal as proof that love is gone. In many cases, the love is still there. It's just buried under overload, unspoken tension, or a slow loss of self. This isn't about excusing distance or explaining away neglect. It's about asking a more useful question. Not, why doesn't he want me anymore, but what in our dynamic stopped feeling safe, chosen, or sustainable for him? Because in long-term relationships, love rarely disappears overnight. It thins slowly through stress that wasn't addressed, imbalances that weren't named, and needs that were never spoken out loud. And what quietly shuts down through those mechanisms can, with the right awareness and effort, quietly come back through them too.